Welcome back, Nicholas Comic Corner, classic, known classics. This is episode number 1930 and double shot number 1824. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now I have two trades here. Now, both these trades feature characters who are filthy rich, though one is not as rich as the other guy is currently. Okay, this is basically from the classic Iron Man days. We have Iron Man, Armor Wars, a story that was very loosely adapted to Iron Man 2. This takes up for the main Iron Man series, issues 225 to 232. Written by David Michelinie and Bob Layton, artwork by Mark Bright. Yeah, this is the classic Armor Wars storyline that got itself a sequel and a Ultra Reality miniseries and a adaptations a few times over the years. Now, most of the storyline basically, this kind of started with a prelude where Iron Man's Silver Centurion was slowly killing him, and he basically tried to figure out what somebody was suspected of involving stuff with Iron Man armor. Now, it was suspected in the main book that Justin Hammer was involved with it, but he couldn't find the evidence. There was a what-if story that did explore this, and during the Defense of Armor Wars, he was acting irrationally. Like, first attack Stinger, which he admits he was a mistake, and he started attacking the Mandroids because people were stealing technology. Now, as for who was the actual villain of this thing, it was some guy basically being a ripoff of Ironmonger. It was a bit okay ending to the story, despite the story being really good. By the way, in book, it was known as Stark Wars. Yep. Now, the West Coast Avengers were basically questioning him. And also, during the rest of the storyline, he also had a crossover with Captain America during the storyline known as The Captain that lasted for 2 years in comic form. Yep. For a classic Iron Man story, I'm going to give this book a 10 out of 10. It's really good. This one have an okay ending. It's not terrible. It just, wow, it's like, okay, so you took a really cool character like Iron Man and you basically give him an okay ending. Alright, next up it is Gotham Central, Book 3, On the Freak Beat. Yes, of course, writing is done by Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker, art by Michael Lark. Fun fact, I think Mark Lark actually would leave with the issues collecting his trade. I believe so. Let's see. Yeah, I think the last issue he did was issue 25. Yes, this book contains issues 23 to 31. You have roughly a few different stories. First is about Jim Corrigan. And we also appearance here by the Black Spider. Now you're probably thinking, who the heck is the Black Spider? He's a minor Batman villain made his debut in the 70s. And this guy was one time part of the Suicide Squad. Yes, he popped up again at the start of this thing. And he didn't do very much. Also, here with Jim Corrigan, a storyline would actually follow up with the final arc of the series, where you have it where Christmas Allen is framed for a crime he didn't commit, and of course, framed for a shooting. Edward Inventory has a clear and can basically indirectly cause where Jim Corrigan can be immune from all crimes, and some of the stuff related to Jim Corrigan playing a role at the end of the series. Yep. And then during the events of Lights Out, which is basically just offensive war games, the bat signal is taken down. And of course, basically, Atkins is brought before the mayor of Gotham City, where he says basically, that is a mistake. Put it back. Batman points out, though, put it back. Atkins like, nope, not putting it back, because I want nothing to do with the bad superheroes. Also, at events of war games, in order to protect the Batman family, Batman pretty much in a way indirectly banished Robin and Batgirl to Bloodhaven. Which that was detailed in the Two Birds storyline, which was a cross between Robin and Batgirl, which it was fairly implied that could have led to Cassandra and Tim having sex, but it didn't go anywhere. They're just really good friends. But this story, of course, War Games for a lot of people is a very controversial story. Well, due to the fact that Orpheus gets killed off, but that's not the biggest problem people hate about the storyline. The fact that Stephanie Brown died. Yes. So much so that one of her co-creators, Chuck Dixon, retconned it, where she did survive, but was sent to her country. Yes. And it was implied Batman knew about it. Yes. This is something that Chuck Dixon told me himself, that he did not like it that Stephanie Brown was killed off in War Games. He absolutely hated it, the fact that DC did this. So when he got back to DC, one of the first things he did was retcon the whole thing related to Stephanie Brown's death. Excuse me, yes. And by the way, the mayor brings up it's good for tourism with the bat signal. I'm not sure how. It just proves the fact that the G.C.P.D. was involved with, well, with Batman. They also bring events of Infinite Crisis in here, which is interesting to say the least. Mm-hmm. Yes, then we have a two-parter, which is On the Freak Beat, which basically is how this book is called. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I should point out, though, that 23-25 is all Greg Rucka, 26-27 is all Ed Brubaker, and pretty much the last 4 issues of this book are done by Greg Rucka himself. Brubaker only does 2 issues. They are published as trade. Yeah, that's a bit surprising. Though Michael Lark would lead with issue 25. Yes, I don't know why he left. If I get a chance to meet him, I will ask him that question. So, there has also been stuff in here related to Renee Montoya's stuff with her being outed. Now, that does play a minor role in here, where she does reunite with her father, who, of course, didn't want to talk to her very much. He asks, what's your girlfriend's name? Darla. He's like, okay. It would seem as though that she was basically starting to reconcile her parents. Doesn't go much anywhere in the series. Not really much at all. Yeah. Now, basically, the final arc that's published in here leads to something that basically that Renee Montoya would still have. I don't know if she has it currently. I haven't seen her basically show this up. I think they may have retconned this in the current continuity. She's basically burned with the symbol of Venus on her chest because she's a lesbian. Because of the events of Woodop, and of course, it's really Dr. Alchemy. Yes, a Flash villain pops up in Gotham Central, which is basically all associated with the G.C.P.D. Yeah, but this storyline here, those issues here are really good. Yeah, basically, you might think, is it overrated? No, it's just a really damn good series. I give the second trade here 9.5, the third trade here at 9.5 out of 10. Next review will cap off this series while discussing the first of 3 trades, basically, I will talk about for the current run for TMNT. Okay? And I'll conclude it here and do the next video here. And that'll be it for videos for a bit. But actually, I'm just going to take a break, rest my voice, and then I'll come back to do one more Comic Corner and maybe Plunder, okay? Next video. Bye.